Call to order.
Recording in progress.
Grace, please read the statement.
Welcome to the public meeting of April 16th, 2025 of the Township of Washington Planning Board. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Board Secretary to at least 2 newspapers on January 3rd, 2025. And this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website.
Thank you. Grace. Salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Carroll,
Here.
Mr. Murphy,
Here.
Mr. Polito,
Here.
Mr. Toole,
Here.
Mr. Toro,
Here,
Mr. Wojciech,
Here.
Councilman Ullman,
Here.
Mayor Calamari,
Here.
Chairman Sabino.
Here.
Let the record reflect also in attendance are Attorney Lou Lamatina, Engineer Paul Azalina, and Board Secretary Grace Kalish.
Thank you, Grace. Please read the public portion.
To participate in the general public portion of the meeting, please click the link below to join the webinar. You will be asked to state your name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. This public comment portion is only for non-agenda items. Time is set aside later in the meeting to address questions or comments about current agenda items. If you are participating by phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. At the end of the general public portion, no further general questions or comments will be accepted.
Do I have a motion to open the public portion?
So moved. A second.
All in favor?
aye,
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address or provide comments to the board, but items other than what's on the agenda for this evening? No? Anyone else? Nobody? Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public portion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
aye,
Moving on to new business. First item of discussion is the discussion of the live stream broadcast and internet video storage. Provide the board members with some context as to why this is on the agenda. During the budget discussions earlier this year, there were some discussions at the mayor and council meeting about eliminating videotaping of the planning board session starting July 1st. Once I heard this, I went to the mayor and council meeting maybe about a month ago, and I asked that the council reconsider and insert into their 2025 budget money to continue to videotape the planning board meetings, considering that this year is a crucial year and that we are updating the master plan, and it would be of significance to the town people that would continue to videotape it and also put up on YouTube. And so if they want to, hear the hearing or better understand what's going on with the master plan, they go on YouTube and review the video. And again, I want to thank Councilman Ullman for supporting my initiative in front of the council to include the budget money in the budget for 2025, and I believe it was passed by the council. And with that, I was asked by the council president to prepare a resolution that the planning board agrees to have the future planning meetings videotaped and uploaded onto YouTube. Now, that being said, 2025, we do have money in the budget, but the council president had asked that we monitor how many residents in the town actually go into YouTube and review our videos. If not many are reviewing our videos, then come 2026, we're not going to do it. So that's the context as to why we need to have this resolution in place to support the videotaping of our planning board meetings and uploading to YouTube. Any comments before I open up the public?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo everything you said. I appreciate you coming to the council meeting. Appreciate Councilman Ullman. I think right from the outset, he was against this, and you were able to convince the fellow council members to fund it. So much appreciated.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, we've been doing this for a while now. What changed? Why did the council decide to take this out?
The cost. It's
Cost.
$100 per meeting.
So without talking to us?
So can I also add? So I think it was twofold. I think there was a cost issue and also the fact that they're taped, but they're not published or it's not available to the public, was the reason why they decided or pursued cutting it. I think it's invaluable. I was on the council when we started recording council meetings, and I think they're well received, and so I think it should continue. But that's why it was initially cut.
And I've worked with the town administrator to ensure that all the tapings are uploaded onto YouTube. It costs no money to upload the video onto YouTube.
Mr. Chairman,
Good.
I'd just like to echo everything that's been said as well. As you know, you and I have had a conversation about this from my own personal situation that I had going on here. And I was not able to get out to go listen to the video at town hall. So there's, one of the aspects I won't be able to vote on tonight. If it was out on YouTube, I could have watched it and signed the form saying that I could vote on it tonight. So I think that's another aspect of it, although it might not be as urgent, whereas, shall we say, used a lot, but I think it's a good venue. If I had it, I could have been, a little bit more voting tonight. So I think it's a good thing all the way around.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Murphy.
May I just ask, do we have the ability to go back and publish prior meetings?
Good question. Anyone there? Yeah, we can ask Rich, does Ricky tapes these meetings?
I mean, if he tapes them and stores them, I would recommend if there's no cost other than the time to upload, we may want to consider going back for I don't know, as long as there are records, but Mr. Burgess has been here a few times to talk about the master plan already. So if there are meetings, potentially include those. That would be my only comment.
Yeah, there's no cost to upload to YouTube or any other streaming service. There is the cost, like you said, Mr. Ullman, for Ricky's time.
Correct.
Yeah.
believe that we can, but we didn't proceed.
Okay, Grace just reached out to Ricky to find out if he can
Okay.
upload previous meetings,
Says
but,
yes.
all right,
Once he says yes, once it's approved, we can make those meetings.
okay, so we can.
Okay, perfect.
How
Thank you.
far back should we go? Last year? We started talking about the master plan.
When was Washington Township established?
I don't think there was technology back then.
I mean, maybe if we have it for 2025, 2024, or the
Yeah.
second half of 24.
Yeah, we started speaking about the master plan in
Yeah.
September 2024.
Yeah, I would think that would make sense.
Yep. Yep, that'd be great.
How many, and like taxes, how long are you gonna keep those videos on a site? So as every 2-year stretch from current
In
back 2
perpetuity.
years, and then as you go forward, you remove a session? Or is it, you're just gonna keep it forever?
The councils are in perpetuity.
Okay.
Because they're not, I don't believe they're considered a legal record. It's a recording. The minutes are the legal record. It supports the minutes, but it's not a legal record. So there's no requirement, as far as I know, to maintain it or age it out. And if there's no cost, I would suggest we keep it until we're told not to.
Okay. So with that, let me open up. Do I have a motion to open public comments on the or resolution 25-06?
Motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in the audience wants to comment on the live stream broadcast? Anyone on video? Nope. Do we have a motion to close public comments on the discussion of live stream broadcast and internet video storage?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve resolution PB 25-06?
Motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Toro,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
yes.
Mayor Calamari,
Yes.
Chairman Sabino.
Yes. Okay, resolution passed. Thank you, Grace. Moving on to old business. First old business is continuation of application for Alex Span for demolition of 134 Ridgewood Road, block 2506.5, lot 5. That application has been carried to the May 21st meeting. No notice is needs to be submitted. So I know, sir, you were here for that application?
Yeah, it's not gonna be discussed.
Not going to be discussed until May 21st.
Fair enough. I appreciate you letting me know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
Was this at the request of the applicant, the deferral? Were they-
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Continuation, excuse me.
All right, moving
Mr.
on.
Chairman,
Yeah.
sorry, can I ask you a question about that? So it looked like at one point the work stopped for a long time, mostly through the winter time, and then recently the work started again. Is there some background to that? I mean, if we didn't hear the application last month and it continues over to the next month now, why is work continuing on the property?
Yeah, there.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
We know what's going on.
Yeah. So maybe what I'll do, let me defer to Paul as to what has transpired. As you know, Mr. Syed, that application never came before the planning board, right? It went before the
Exactly.
zoning board approved it, and then based on some perceived facts, there was a stop order issued by the buildings department. There was a meeting a couple of weeks ago with myself, the mayor, Councilman Ullman, Paul. There's like 12 in the room. Zoning board chairman, zoning board engineer, town engineer. There's like 12 of us in the room. Discussed. This is one of the items that we had discussed. So let me turn it over to Paul to provide the planning board members with an update on that situation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Even before that meeting, the construction official had issued a footing and foundation permit to Mr. Fan based on the perceived dangerous condition associated with having that open excavation and that slab portion of the remaining portion of the dwelling. So that was deemed to be an unsafe condition that the applicant engineer had made the construction official aware of it, and his understanding of the law is that he is obligated to issue a permit for just the footing and foundation. So that is the work that is ongoing. I drove by there on Tuesday of this week, or yes, maybe Monday of this week. I see that they really only excavated a little bit more and removed that slab that was hanging in midair. I don't know if they've done anything further since then, But as far as the discussions at the meeting, I don't know if that's proper to comment at this time, in that it's.
Yeah, I just asked Lou and
Yeah, I just think just generally why you see work, and I
Yeah.
think that really answers the question. And as far as
Yeah.
what went on in the meeting, it's not really relevant at this point. The application is not before us tonight. So the
Okay.
answer is that the permit was issued to take care of the footing issue.
Okay.
thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to Resolution PB 25-07, approval of Daniel Vernick of demolition of 572 Cypress Street, block 4301.01, lot 6. Any comments on the resolution? What?
Just had one minor correction on page 4. Down under number 1, you had fully conforming Homer lot. I think it meant corner lot, should have been. But that's the only thing I got there.
Homer, got it.
Yeah. Right, corner lot.
Fifth line, verse.
Yeah.
Any other comments? None? Okay, so do I have a motion to approve resolution PB 25-07?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Toro,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Chairman Sabino.
Yes. Okay, resolution passes. Moving on to minutes, March 5th, 2025, it was the closed session. Are there any comments on the minutes? Any comments? None? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the March 5th, 2025 closed session minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Motion made by Mr. Carroll or Mr. Wojciechowski. Who made the motion?
Oh, no, I made the motion.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's, just want to be sure, okay. Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski.
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
Mayor Calamari,
Yes.
Chairman Sabino.
Yes. Okay. Minutes are approved. Next minute, March 19th, 2025. Any comment on those minutes?
Mr. Chairman, there's just a few minor spelling corrections on page 2 and page 3, spelling of Beach Street. On page 2. And also on page 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on page 6, I believe it's in the second paragraph, midway through, they are not talking down, should be taking down 50% of the structure. Page 6.
In paragraph 2.
Paragraph.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then I have one comment on page 3.
Okay.
On page 3, fifth sentence down says, where under the current code, you would actually need a more variances. I think A should not be there, right? Where is it? Page 3,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the A.
Yes, yes.
Any other comments? No? Okay, do I have a motion to approve as amended?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Polito,
Yes.
Mr. Tool,
Yes.
Mr. Toro,
Yes.
Mr. Wojciechowski,
Yes.
Councilman Holman,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, minutes are approved. So down to the last topic, any board member have any comments, thoughts that they would like to bring up this evening? Well,
Mr. Chairman, if I could just get some direction, we actually have a third retroactive demo application. The one that I'm looking at currently is the thing about that one as compared to the two other ones, that was never submitted a site plan with that application. It was really just architectural drawings. And, you know, they took down basically the whole structure, perimeter wall structure, but there really was never a grading plan presented, no drainage, no tree removals, no landscaping. So the question I have for the board is what level of scrutiny am I applying to something that has already been reviewed and approved by others in the town? Do you need a written report, and do you need me to, kind of go back to the start? So I can go either way, just looking for some direction.
well, when you say others, was it the building department? They gave the permits?
Yes.
Well, my initial thought is you have to perform your due diligence and professional review of that property as if it's a new application.
I would agree. I think you go back to square one.
Yeah.
I mean, building doesn't look at tree preservation, right? They don't look at issues like that, do they? They're just going to approve building plans.
I believe so, but I don't want to speak for what they're looking at or not looking at.
Well, let me ask a question. If you're putting up a new structure, don't you have to conform to the new storm criteria with the dry wells and whatnot?
Well, it wouldn't be a major development, so you wouldn't have that, but typically when we're reviewing a site plan, there is some level of stormwater management provided. You just need to protect the neighboring properties and the public drainage system. The sort of difference with this lot is it's pretty flat. I don't see any potential negative impacts to adjoining property owners. And as I say, to introduce these things at this stage of the game, may be an issue, but if that's how the board would like me to review an application, then I will certainly do it in that manner.
It comes down to they disregarded the law that they had to get a planning board approval.
So
I don't see any sympathy that should be given to an applicant if they just disregarded what the law said.
So Paul is bringing this up, but do you have any knowledge? So it went to building, and did it make it to zoning as the prior ones, or this never went to zoning?
It did not require any variances, so therefore it was not subject to zoning board review. There was a zoning review done by the zoning officer. His finding was that there were no variances, so therefore he didn't have to go to any boards. And it's a ministerial soil moving permit, so he didn't have to come to this board for a major soil permit. He did obtain a ministerial permit. But that is my understanding of the extent of the review that's performed currently with those building department type of applications.
But isn't there a whole demolition process that there has to be asbestos and utilities have to be turned off, and there has to be, it's like a 10 step.
There is, and that is the purview of the construction official. So not certain if those procedures were followed or not, because as I say, the way the application was originally presented to the building department was that they were not always done, incrementally, and I believe the stop work order was issued sometime in January. That's why I'm saying, the timing here is something to be aware of.
But when they come in for demolition approval, they have to do a site plan, correct?
No,
You don't have to have a site plan.
I mean, if they're, our code says if you're demolishing more than 50% of your residence, you have to get an approval from the planning board. It doesn't say necessarily site plan approval. We've kind of extrapolated it to that end, usually because they are in combination with a major soil permit, which when you look at the requirements of that, as compared to any soil, minor site plan, they're pretty much one and the same. So, I didn't think we were going too far afield by requiring, grading plan, landscaping plan, et cetera, stormwater management. But now, as I say, with just an approval from this board for demolition, that doesn't necessarily mean comprehensive site plan.
Are there trees on the property, or were there trees on the property?
I don't know exactly what the site looked like. I didn't get a chance to ask the zoning officer if any tree permits were issued. It looks relatively clear at this time. I don't recall that lot as being heavily wooded. Generally the ones on that street are, not so densely wooded. So, but there are no trees shown on any of the plans that I've received there.
Well, excuse me, asking a question.
Yeah.
Paul, are you saying they have to come to the board because they went that far and you're just asking how far to take it? Or are you asking, are we bypassing a board requirement?
No, I'm just asking how comprehensive a review you want me to do.
But you agree they have to come?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think they're,
Because to me, what's big is now their neighbor should have a chance to speak about this where they didn't in the building review. So at least if we hear it, I assume notice will go out and his residents can come talk about, the full demolition if they want. And, but if we don't require them to file a site plan and like that, how will the residents know what they are planning now that they demolished that much?
well, I would say that they probably could still be required to notice any hearing that doesn't necessarily have to. But that's it.
Yeah, let's,
I have to say, I agree with what Lou said.
yep.
Mr. Chairman, I would think you would either have to have a survey of the existing property to show what the existing contents were, a demo plan to show you that they're not going to be fouling anything outside of the building footprint, and maybe a drawing that shows the height of the building.
I have the original architectural drawings. And after the fact demolition plan was prepared by the architect, which really doesn't say a whole heck of a lot. And as I say, it's an existing condition right now, basically. So, but I can certainly go back from the start and ask for extra.
Don't they have this information already in drawings?
No, as I say, what was submitted was.
Was an addition, it's supposed to put an addition on? They went from an addition to demolishing the whole house.
That's completely,
Circumventing.
whether for the application or the resolution we prepared this evening or approved this evening, there was a partial demolition, and for whatever reason, whether it was ignorance or trying to circumvent or however we got, or there was bugs or, insect damage. It seemed like they were aware of what they were supposed to do. It appeared they made an effort. It sounds to me like this situation, they're just completely saying, we're putting in a small addition and we're just going to do an end around and knock the whole thing down. I mean, it just,
So Paul, I think the guidance is,
I've got my guidance. I think.
all right. But along those lines, I have a couple of topics I want to bring up to the board. So I mentioned earlier in the meeting that 12 of us met in the town hall up in the conference room, and besides the fan application, we also discussed actually this situation with Jernick, specifically around the demolition ordinance. And our town administrator made a copy of the ordinance, which was prepared back in March 17th, 2003. So it's almost 22 years old,
22 years. Wow.
right? I'm sorry?
No, I said, wow, 22 years. Sorry.
Yeah, yes. And then when you read the ordinance, and what it really came down to was that there's not a lot of specification around the definition of what a demolition is. Right? It just says no demolition of 50% or more of any existing residence in any residential zone in the township should occur without prior approval of the planning board. Right? And we brought up the whole Montessori school, where it's in a residential zone and they tore the building down, but that application never came before the planning board. So what was discussed in the meeting that we need to review this ordinance and provide a better, a more descriptive, detailed ordinance to provide guidance to the townsfolk, but also to the government officials in this town. So when we talk about demolition, what is the process? One, how is it defined, and what is the process that an applicant has to go through in order to get a demolition permit? So the way we left it off was that Paul, I think you, myself, and Joe Burgess, we're going to get together and put a proposal together that will be presented to the council for approval to approve funds in order for Paul and Joe Burgess to review the ordinance and provide recommendations to this board to revise this demo ordinance. Because right now it's only one paragraph, and for some reason or another, and Paul, I know you've been around here a while, they combine the demolition of residence along with tree preservation. Right, and we all know that tree preservation is a separate ordinance in town, but this one never got revised. So, Paul, any additional comments? Anyone else on the board wants to provide comments?
Lenny, I think I'm right with this, and it might be a correction to what you said, so I want to make sure it's straight. Based on the way things work, Montessori did not have to come to us because the zoning board can handle the demolition as part of their overall. We usually don't make applicants come to both boards. So it sounded to me like you were saying they might have done something improper, but I don't think they did. I think.
Well, I questioned Joe Yasmic.
John Ukimic?
Oh, John Ukimic.
Yeah, too close.
John Ukimic, because that property is in a residential zone.
It's a non-conforming use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where it was a little bit gray. I agree.
Yeah.
It was gray.
Yeah, and I think the operative word in the code right now says demolition of a residence. So
Yes, not just the
Charlie
building,
Brown's
residence.
restaurant. I think that's how we were looking at it. And then I agree the zoning board should have the same power if they're reviewing a site plan for, large project like that to approve the demolition. But it doesn't say that in our code right now. So once again, another tweak to the code should be, specifically stating that they have the jurisdiction in that instance.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
was there any discussion of penalty or anything? Should this happen? Because we got 3 in a row here now.
Yeah.
Is this going to continue to happen? If it continues to happen, if there's no consequences other than the fact that they have to come to our board, it could continue. I'm just wondering if there was any discussion with that, you guys.
Not on penalties, but we concluded that the ordinance needs to be reviewed and updated.
Right.
Lou, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Is the penalty just the stop work order, or can we impose a monetary penalty if the council chooses to put it in an ordinance?
You can certainly put it in, but wouldn't this be an application, a code violation that would go to municipal court?
It sounds like it, yes.
Yeah. Was anybody cited violating the ordinance and summoned? I don't know if that occurred. If they're summoned, they're going to be before the judge, and the judge will
Right.
impose, guilty and you find so and so.
Right.
Well, the Jermick, he was not fined. I think that's on record, correct?
Yeah.
He was
Was he
not-
cited though? I don't know if we can find, meaning we can't find.
No, we can. We
The
have.
code official do it. I don't think there's authority. I think you have to bring the complaint, have him found guilty, and then the judge imposes a penalty.
Mhm.
And it stop work. I think that's separate, and I don't know what authority we have for that, Paul, but that's what's.
We don't, that's the construction code official.
Yeah, that's right.
He has the ability to fine people for not, getting a prior approval if he so chooses. I don't believe it's mandatory action on his part. It's judgment call.
So Bill, to answer your question, when Paul, I, and Joe get together.
Yeah.
To discuss the ordinance, we'll definitely consider it.
Okay.
Bring it before this planning board for their review.
Thank you.
And Paul, I know Mark asked, town administrator asked for a proposal. I've been out of town, so have you gotten together with Joe? If not, I'll schedule a meeting for the three of us.
Okay.
So you can put your proposal together and present it. So that's the demo I wanted to bring up. The next topic is the advisory committee meeting for the master plan is on Monday, July 21st at 9:00. So the committee will be meeting at that time. So
Did I hear you say July?
Monday.
He said July.
I said July?
Yeah.
No, April. Monday, April 21st. What? I'm thinking of my vacation on the French Riviera.
So this
But,
coming
April
Monday.
21st, yes, Monday at 9:00. All right, that's it for me. Any other comments, thoughts? None? A motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.